Hey Aussie gamers, Lucas here, and today I'm going to do a video on the Relentless Controllers Australia controller. Now, Snoogan's got a controller in his hands last week and he put it through the paces, and I did the exact same thing after Snoogan's gave it to me to have a bit of a go. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run through how you get your hands on one of these Relentless controllers. Now, they're not just a normal controller, they're a pro controller, and there's a controller builder on the Relentless Controllers website. So we're going to go and order one now. So there you go, that was the ordering process using the controller builder on the relentlesscontrollers.com.au website, and the links to that will be in the description either above or below depending where you're watching this. So that's the easy part, and then you've got to wait for postage. But because these guys are from Australia, the postage doesn't take very long. You're not waiting for it to come from overseas at all. So you get your hands on one of these straight away. Now we're going to take a good look at the controller itself. Now, the options that were picked for this controller here aren't necessarily what you will pick for yours. Now, let's have a good look at the controller and we'll come back and we'll go through all the little bits and pieces that this thing has. Alright, so the controller on the back of the controller is where all the action is. So if you have a look on the back, we've got the two buttons here. X and circle is what has been programmed into this one. Now, me personally, I would prefer the X to be on the other side. I would like the jump button to be on my left finger. I don't know why, it's just something that I prefer. And I would prefer on the right hand side for it to be square, not circle. I think I use in, say, shooters, I will use the reload button, which is square, more than I would use the circle. So I think that's what I would program in. Now keep in mind as well, look, you can change the which ones these buttons relate to in the builder. However, if you do get it and you decide that you don't want it that way, you can use the PlayStation 4 to remap these buttons. You can't remap them on the controller on these. I think that might be something in the works, but this one you can't actually do that. You can do that on the PlayStation itself. You can go into the settings and you can change which buttons are what. So basically you'll just change circle and square around, and that will ultimately change the buttons on the back. Now, Snoogan's organised this controller here so it's to his specifications, and he's got X and circle on the back there, and he's also optioned for the Pro triggers. Now, the Pro triggers on the back look like regular triggers, but they're not. Now, they don't go in as far, and what I'll do is I'll get another controller. It is slightly less. You'll have to take my word for it on that one. It's very hard to display. However, there is a little bit of an audible click. If you can hear that click. As opposed to a normal one which doesn't have that click. It just has travel there. So look, that's what that does. The Pro triggers there, not necessarily good for racing games. So if you're a big racer, don't get the Pro triggers, because it will basically mean that the accelerator and the brake will be full on, full off. There's no in between. It takes away that analog part of the triggers. So really good for shooters because it's just aim down sight and fire, and it's immediate. There's no gradual before it kicks in. That's what the Pro triggers are mainly for. Now Snuggins has also opted for probably my favorite thing beyond the extra buttons on the back, is the magnetic interchangeable sticks. Now if you have a look at the sticks there, if you do have an Xbox One Pro controller, no, what are they called? Xbox One Elite controller floating around, you might recognize them. And these are actually removable because they're magnetic. All you got to do is just pull them off. And the interesting thing is, I would have thought that these would be a little bit suspect for being wobbly, feeling wobbly when you're playing, or falling off, but they're not even in this. That would not happen unless you throw this thing across the room. And they're both removable, and it comes with a bunch of other attachments that you would have seen in Snuggins' video. If you saw that one, that was already unzipped. Just zipped it closed. That there are taller sticks, and these are the ones that I had on it, which are a bit shorter. So you can mix and match, and they're easy to do. That was it, simple. I've just changed it up there. We're a little bit of a height difference there. So if you can have the longer stick on the right one, it adds a little bit more precision to your aim. Whereas the left one doesn't necessarily need precision because it's just your movements. But this one, you get a little bit more precision with it. But if you don't like it, take them off. And it also comes with a pair of convex sticks as well. If you prefer a bit of convex, basically that just means the sticks are coned. Well, I don't know. They're bloody convex. Work it. I don't know. Look it up. Google it. I'll put the description, not the description, the definition of what convex means on the screen because I can't explain it. All right, so you can do that as well. Not a big fan of those myself. They are pretty high as well. So you can mix and match if you like. I like just the standard height ones, but you can change them around so easy. That's it. I've already just put the sticks back on. Take them off, put it on, and they're nice and stable. So there you go. Everything else on this controller is fairly standard except for the faceplate. That faceplate has got a soft touch feel to it. Feels really nice under your hands, and everything else is pretty much exactly the same as you would expect, except for the Relentless sticker that's on there. This is going to turn my PlayStation on. But that'll light up in the background there and show Relentless and their logo. But there you go. That is the Relentless controller. This is a Pro controller that is built using the relentlesscontrollers.com website. Go and check it out, and you can customize your build depending on how much you want to spend and what differences you want. You can change which buttons you want replicated on the back with the Pro buttons on the back there. If I had to be picky, there is one thing that it's really picky and makes no difference to the actual usability of it. But have a look on the sticks. If you move all the way to one side, you can see there's a gap there. It's obviously not designed for this controller. It's an Xbox thing. And on this side as well, you can see that gap there underneath the stick. That's being super picky. One other thing as well, the back buttons, loud click, real loud click. If you got headphones on, who cares? It doesn't really matter. It is a satisfying click where they're placed, and it feels real good for your fingers, but super loud. That's probably going to piss your wife off or your significant other. But at the end of the day, who cares? This is a really cost-effective way of getting yourself into the Pro controller market without spending, you know, $300 plus to get a scuff, which comes from overseas, and you're probably going to wait 3-4 weeks for delivery. These things are going to come just in regular Australia Post from Australia, so it's not going to take every single day of the year to get to you. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about the Relentless controller. Thank you very much for watching. And if you've noticed the shirt I'm wearing here, this beautiful shirt here with Aloy on it, that's from tpublic.com. Go and check them out. They've got a big range of t-shirts there. They don't just do t-shirts, and they don't just do gaming stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff there, but go check it out. And I don't know what that was meant to be. I'll see you next time. Lucas here, Aussie Gamers Express. Peace!